Hey everybody, welcome back to the Overwatch channel on YouTube. I wanted to point out something today, something that occurred to me, as it's always bothered me about these cognitive biases people have whenever they're addressing worldviews that have anything to do with spirituality, religion, non-religion, politics, society in general. And it's something that's troubled me for a while. But what's troubled me is okay, so you see the cityscape in front of me right now. This is marvelous. Just think of just one of these buildings, what it took to make that building. Not only make it so that it's beautiful in the skyline here, and just think of what went on, how many people had to come together to engineer it, design it, architect it, and just pull it all together. And we're able to do that, right? We're able to do that. That's all over the world. Or just to make a car. Just think about what had to happen to make this car, or any car, your car. The engineering, and it works, right? You get in it, you don't even think about it. You don't even think about all the stuff that's in the car, all the technology. Modern cars today, you can plug your phone into it. You can navigate by talking to your car, and it navigates to where you want to go. You just tell it the address. Airplane, right? 747. And to be in one of these things, you're statistically safer than a car. And this thing can take you all over the world, and all the miles of wiring and technology and redundant systems to try to make it safe. And to just the fact that, look at what we've done just since the Wright brothers, right? It's amazing. Or maybe an orchestra. Think about all the people together working in unison to create great music. If that's your taste in music, of course, you may have different tastes, but in general, just all those people, and they're all working together and creating something artistic and wonderful, right? Now, you take these people that have created all this stuff, and it's been mind-boggling me for a while. So you ask the same people now, okay, let's make a model for a society so we can have an open and free society. And you can watch these people divide up into groups, or everything kind of collapse into chaos. And even if they do make some kind of working model, in no time it'll start to be, to degenerate into something horrible, right? And how many times have we recycled the same ideas in government over and over again, only to end up with tyranny or displacement of power and corruption and cronyism and everything else? Yet, how long have orchestras been around? And how long have we been making things where it takes a lot of people together to make something wonderful? And yet we can't do it when it comes to a society, right? We always run into big, major problems. But the evidence for what does work and what doesn't work is out there. But people don't seem to follow the evidence. It's been bothering me because it's as if, well, it's not as if, but it's the brain is literally designed to interfere with you when you start looking into those matters, into matters of religion, politics, spirituality, materialism, all those things. The brain stops following the same rules that it would follow anywhere else in life, and now it adopts these rules of chaos and conflict. And I started to think it's not an accident, or it's not, that I started to think that it's by design. Okay, so I've been told you on my channel before that if you go back far enough, you'll find that I have a completely different worldview now than I had before. As a matter of fact, in the last week or so, I think I'm changing paradigms again. I'm having another paradigm shift. And in this particular shift, I've always said, like in studying this stuff, that there's like a false dichotomy, a false dialectic that you just can't get away from. You have your atheists on one side and your religion on the other. Now you have your false dichotomy. There is no such thing as consciousness, science, versus God will judge and punish you, religion. And in this short little part of this article, it says mainstream science and religion are two limiting beliefs yelling at each other. We do not have to limit ourselves to the false dichotomy. There are other options. That's exactly what I've been trying to say on my channel. Is that you need to look as an outsider to all the information, let the information speak for itself. Let all the data, all the evidence about reality, about humanity speak for itself, and then have the information shape your model, not have your model try to corrupt the information. But instead, whereas we can do this when we're building a skyscraper, right? We can do this because if we were to employ the same stupid kind of thinking that most people employ when they're doing these other things, these understanding reality, understanding the worldview of humanity stuff, skyscrapers would collapse and kill everybody inside because of bad design. But that doesn't happen. We can make these marvelous buildings and they can sustain hurricane winds, and some places they can take earthquakes, and they work. But we can't make society work without conflict, chaos, war, death, and tyranny. And just recently I started having the thought about this whole prison planet type of theory. Now, I'm still looking into it, but I came up with this completely on my own, and then I went to see if other people had ever thought of this, because I really never looked for it, and it never came up in anywhere that I was looking. And it turns out other people have had similar theories. You know, the theory that, okay, so you have your afterlife, right? You have your body, your consciousness, and for people that are materialistically stuck, they won't get this. But you have your soul, your consciousness, and it is your spirit self, I guess you could say, your actual self, and it is it occupies a body temporarily, and then when your body shuts down, your consciousness leaves. Now, the NDE experience clearly shows that all religions are wrong. Worldviews, it gets very confusing. I mean, there's data, there's veridical out-of-body experiences that you can pull good data from, and you have people acknowledging that in all kinds of scientific fields, and then, of course, people degenerate into this. It has to fit my worldview scenario. So the atheists try to make it into an illusion. The religious people try to make it fit their religion. In reality, it doesn't fit any of that. All it shows is that when you are some kind of spiritual being, and when your body shuts off, you're still there. You exit your body, and then you go. We have certain things that are kind of common, like you'll see your dead relatives or your dead pets, maybe, and you'll see spirit guides, beings, angels. You might see a light. There's a tunnel. Some people don't have the tunnel, and you get drawn into this light. And it always bothered me that, people just assume that in general that's benevolent, but it had occurred to me a long time ago when I was reading all the NDE cases. It just seemed to me like this reminds me of a bug light or a bug zapper, right? Then you read about all these reincarnation research, and it's clear people get reincarnated. But then you have to wonder why. If they get reincarnated with amnesia, what's the point? And then what about these messages you get from the other side, from spirit beings, that tell you, well, you have a mission, you have to go back because you haven't finished your mission. But they never tell you what the mission is. And it seems to me some of these people have really mundane lives that don't really, they're just routine people. They're not world leaders. They're just, could be anybody, right? What possible mission could they possibly have? And so the thing is that I started wondering, energy, our consciousness, when people describe being out of body, they have that sensation of like a freedom and power and alertness and the hyper reality they're sensing all around them. And then, but people that study consciousness, honestly, they say the brain is like a reducing valve. So if it's reducing our consciousness down, I started to think, well, where's that excess energy from? I know some of these people that have this prison planet theory. They think that it's their whatever we're feeding, or what they call them archons or whatever, that these beings feed off of our emotions or whatever, and it may be correct. I don't know, and I don't know about these archons, and I don't know about this other stuff that people seem to have a conclusion about. But I just say, well, the evidence does fit that we are in some type of trap, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they're right about all the details that they're giving us in these prison planet theories. But at the same time, I really have to wonder, because it does seem to fit the data, right? Even our brain is designed to keep us from getting our shit together when we're trying to build a society, when we're trying to understand reality. It seems like the same people that can make something amazing, like this device I'm recording the video on, or device you're watching the video on, or your car, or a building, or an aircraft, or a rocket ship, can't do the same thing when they're doing these other functions of society, of understanding reality. It all falls to shit. As if the brain is not only designed to reduce consciousness, it's designed to interfere with consciousness when you start to look into these things. And then when you have your out-of-body experience, you feel free, and all of a sudden this light, and it draws you in, and it showers you with euphoria and love, and just listen to us. And if you look at the work of like Michael Newton and other people, it's possible that people get talked into, well, just reincarnate all over again so you can finish learning your lessons. And I'm like, dude, how can I learn my lesson if I have amnesia every time? And it's, to me, like it seems like the UFO abduction thing has a lot to do with this also. People like J. Allen Hynek and the work of Dr. Carla Turner clearly show that UFOs have like a spiritual element to them. And it does seem like you are more powerful than all this stuff that happens to us wants you to know. And they use the tricks of seduction and the tricks of fear and misinformation and lies and deception to keep you into this never-ending loop of you agree and then you come back and you get recycled type shit. So, just a thought, but I will be posting more videos about this as I learn more about it. I came up with this sort of like a concept on my own, and I never really looked at what other people were saying. But there are clearly other people that have had this idea. Recently, I talked to or emailed a guy named Wayne Bush. He runs a website, trickedbythelight.com. I'll have to link to that website. He has several interviews on the Kraz Files I was listening to, and it's interesting. And a lot of the truthers out there that pull all this symbolism, and they show you all this symbology and everything, he does that too. But of course, that data is subject to interpretation as to what it actually means. And that's the problem. See, people want to jump to some kind of conclusion. Now, I'm trying to separate what the evidence indicates with a lot of this really defined stuff that people want to tell you. You know, whether it's the Christian truther that puts the whole Christian spin on this, or the atheistic truther that puts a a whole different, like, all man-made spin on it, or people like these prison planet theorists that are generally, from what I'm gathering now, they're quite Gnostic in nature. But the Gnostic stuff, before you knock it all, you should really look into it and then look at how it compares to the real world that you can see today. So it's a lot to take in, but as far as the brain goes, it's hackable. You can hack it. You people do it all the time with the placebo effect. You can break their controls. It's just a matter of realizing that you're being manipulated. And then once you do that, you can start to work yourself toward freedom. And so we'll explore this more in other videos. I just wanted to get the point out there. My screen recorder has been crapping out on me, so sorry I got to do this way, but it's better than nothing. And I'll put a lot of links in the description section below, so you have a lot of material to look at if you want. Take care. Talk to you guys later. Bye.